After the Green Bay Packers took care of the Washington Commanders on Thursday, we've got a bonus Locked On Packers with RedZone host Scott Hanson.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski, and I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. Follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter, Locked On Packers. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast to iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find podcasts. You will find Locked On Packers, the #1 Packers podcast on the internet, and the show for fans who know what happened. They want to know why and how. This episode brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward, Mazda, Move and Be Moved. Before we get to Scott Hanson, I just want to, because we didn't have a chance to talk about the injury on our live show after the game, because Matt LaFleur was announcing it as we were live. The Packers are going to be without Jayden Reed for somewhere between 6 and 12 weeks because he has a broken collarbone. And that's a huge deal for this Packers offense. Jayden Reed was a big part of the offense last year. Of course, 2023 broke onto the scene as a rookie. Poor choice of words. I'm sorry. And so he was going to be a big part of this offense this year. Had the touchdown last week. Had what would have been a touchdown this week, the play where he gets hurt. And it doesn't even count because of a just ridiculous holding call. If he's going to go down and be out for 2 months, at least let the touchdown count on a terrific throw and catch from Jordan Love and Jayden Reed. Who steps up? What we talked about on the squad show was that this is potentially clarifying for this team. That it allows them to let Matthew Golden step into that slot role, to scheme him up some touches, to run some stuff for him without having to worry about, okay, who's getting the touches here, who's getting the touches here, because Jayden Reed and Dontavian Wicks, for example, they play a different role in this offense. And if what they wanted was someone to take the burden off of Jayden Reed for the gadget stuff, it looks like that's Savion Williams. He had the gadget stuff on Thursday night, the two big runs in this game. I think they're going to continue to find ways to get him the ball, to manufacture touches for him. When it comes to manufactured touches in the passing game, though, I think you're going to see more from Matthew Golden. And now what this does is, for the next 2 months, they get to experiment with Matthew Golden in the slot. What about that cheat motion that they used to use Jayden Reed on? Those out routes that they're making, Marshawn Lattimore run across the formation. Well, what if that's Matthew Golden and your 4.28 speed running across the formation? That's different. That looks different. So it's that for me that I think is what they're going to get to play with a little bit. And when you have Tucker Kraft play the way that he did, such a middle of the field run after catch weapon, when you have Matt LaFleur who's able to scheme these players as effectively as he does, and then you have Dontavian Wicks working his way back into this offense. Romeo Doubs still very much a fixture in this offense. And you can get a little creative. Maybe you can do some things with Savion Williams that you couldn't do with Jayden Reed because of Williams' size. Things that you wouldn't ask Jayden Reed to do. Maybe you can get some tougher yards inside with Savion Williams. Inside runs with Savion Williams. Maybe you, against man coverage, you line up Matthew Golden in the backfield with Savion Williams, with Josh Jacobs. Dictate matchups that way without Jayden Reed on the field. And while I think that hurts the Packers from a personnel standpoint, he's a really good football player. It gives them a chance to experiment with Matthew Golden in a way that maybe they wouldn't be, merely because you don't have to. You've got this stuff for Jayden Reed. And so now you can explore a little bit. Like next year, I think they were already going to do that by the end of this year and into next year. Next year, I think you can make the case he's going to be, wide receiver 1 going into the regular season. That's going to be the expectation. Well, now you get a head start on that. And by the way, that project is for the offseason. Who cares right now? You're chasing a Super Bowl right now. So go find opportunities, figure out what he's good at, figure out how you can get him the ball in space. Can he be more than just a go ball player as a vertical player? You want to run him on corner routes. How's the ball tracking there? Double moves. Big post turns into a big post corner. Deep overs. Crossing routes. How many different ways can you get this guy involved in the offense? Do you want him running Yankee and all of the core concepts that this team loves to use? If teams are going to play man coverage, crossing routes for days with Matthew Golden. Maybe there would have been some Jayden Reed opportunities before. Now it's him. Jet sweep stuff, jet motion stuff, orbit motion, all the little swing screens. And is he the spinner series, the single wing stuff? No, that's Savion Williams. Well, I've got two players that can do a number of different things. And that makes you even less predictable by formation. Who's getting the ball? Well, I don't know. It could be anybody. That actually seems like a very valuable tool in your tool belt. Not that I think, it's better for the offense to not have Jayden Reed from a certainty standpoint. But I think long-term, this could end up being a good thing for this offense. Now, I would like Jayden Reed to be healthy, certainly in the playoffs. You look out and you go, okay, 8 weeks. That gets you to the end of the season when the Packers play all their division games. Is he going to be back for the Eagles game, for example? He lit up the Eagles twice last year. Maybe not. But can you use Matthew Golden in a lot of the same ways you use Jayden Reed against zone coverage against that Eagles team? Absolutely you can. And hopefully by then, you now have a list of ways that you feel like I can use Matthew Golden if I'm Matt LaFleur. I know what he can do here. I know what he can do here. I know what he can do here. And so against zone coverages, here's how you attack. Against man coverages. And then by the playoffs, you have a better feel for this. I also want to say, this is why Bob McGinn has always talked about you never have too many guys. There's always injuries. Certain guys are not going to play to the level that you need them to. I didn't understand why Matthew Golden wasn't playing more earlier in this game. Savion Williams was out there before Matthew Golden. What? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, maybe there's something we're not seeing. Maybe this is a no block, no rock thing. Maybe it's just the concepts that they wanted to call. But I can see Matthew Golden on the cheat motion into verticals, jet motion, like Dontavian Wicks, into outbreakers. I don't know if the Packers are comfortable with him doing that. Well, give him a shot at it. Let's see what he can do. Especially over the next 2 weeks. These are, you got the mini bye week before Cleveland. It's going to be a tough defense, a good test for you, but that offense should not be able to score points at all on this team. I mean, you should shut out the Browns. And if you have to win the game 3-0, then you win the game 3-0. But I think you could win the game 3-0. You have some time to experiment here. Not that these are cupcakes by any means. They got some tough teams coming up on the schedule, but you have time now to start to work on this. And then by the time the playoff comes, you're going to get Jayden Reed back for the stretch run, hopefully. And now you've got all of this time under tension with Golden, Love. They need that reps. Jordan Love being out and having the thumb means fewer reps for Matthew Golden. And so now you get this back in, and it allows you to be a more effective offense in the aggregate, a more effective offense at the end of the year, a more effective offense in the playoffs. All right, Scott Hanson joins me next on Locked On Packers. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP, who delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it matters most. Let's break it down. I gave you Tucker Kraft on Thursday night. I'm going to give you Keyshawn Nixon. He delivered in a big way. 5 pass breakups against the Commanders. He had 7 all of last season. And if you've been watching week after week, this performance wasn't a fluke. He was also good in spurts last week against the Lions. And just like Keyshawn Nixon delivered for the Packers, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/8. 18. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Packers comfortably covered 3.5 against the Commanders. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love FanDuel because it fits how I like to bet. I like getting my money lines, my spreads, but there's so many other, if I want to put together some crazy 5-leg parlay, guess what? FanDuel does it. And I can have a lot of fun doing that. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Joining me now, you know him, you love him, the host of RedZone, Scott Hanson. And Scott, we're gonna get to a lot of things here as we can, time permitting. But I want to start right off the bat. I'm a Packers guy, so Micah Parsons. I felt like if there was ever a time for RedZone to say, hey, Micah Parsons is making his debut, or hey, it's third down, we got to get to the Packers, that was it. Was there ever a discussion like, hey, maybe we need to focus on this in a different way for Micah for week one?
Oh, 100%. 100%. We were like, all eyes go to the stars, especially stars that are making a debut for a new team, especially something that's nearly unprecedented in the last decade or two in the NFL with the circumstances that, of course, led to him going to Green Bay. And we were thrilled, regardless of the outcome between the Packers and the Lions, we were thrilled that Micah had that unique, let me hunt down and chase down the quarterback and drop Jared Goff, pop up in the air with the one in the sky with that clean looking number 1 jersey that he's now wearing at Lambeau Field with the ground level cutaway of his teammates going nuts on the sideline. Like, we root for drama on NFL RedZone, and Micah Parsons' debut and really his presence in that Packers franchise is going to be one of the stories, not only from week one, but all season long as we go forward, because he's going to get more and more snaps each week that he gets into the mode on defense and gets into shape.
Yeah, you mentioned the drama. That's one of the things that I sometimes, because I like to just sit down and be immersed in a game, sometimes I can struggle with feeling like I've got way too much going on, and it's your job, which I think is a thankless and impossible job, and somehow you're able to do it and try and give some perspective on what is going on. Try and give us the stakes, because if there's 8 morning games going on, like how is anyone? I don't know how you keep everything straight. How do you approach trying to provide enough context that we know what's going on, but not so much that you're overwhelming us with information?
That's a great question. I would answer it a few different ways. One, I work with what for my money is the best team in sports television. I'm the face, I'm the voice, I'm the host, but everyone that works behind the scenes, I shout out several of them at the end of every show, and rightly so. They're working to shuffle together. Think about how many snaps we see on an NFL RedZone early window. This Sunday, we've got 9 games in the early window, trying to shuffle them all together to make one common story thread that the audience can understand, can wrap their mind around, and enjoy in real time. It's a heck of a challenge. So the crew, number 1. 2, I try and prepare for every eventuality that there could possibly be. I want to know every storyline, every stat, every fact, every anecdote that I might be able to share that gives some context to why we're watching, what we expect to see, what we could see in any given moment when we parachute in to fill in the blank stadium. And then 3, it's ultimately about serving the audience. I want to do unto others the way I would have them do unto me. And when I sit on my couch and I'm a sports fan, I want the sports broadcaster and the broadcast team to serve me in a way that is informative, entertaining, passionate, but not overwhelming. And the challenges on RedZone with 8 different games, 9 different games going on are considerable, but thankfully I've got 16 years of experience in trying to do it. And I still want to get better each and every time, because I want to plug in, let you know, hey, here's what we're watching. Here's why we're watching, if it's not self-explanatory, and let's watch it together and enjoy it together as sports fans. Sorry for a long answer.
No,
but
no, no. Look,
all
it's
the
a
thought that
podcast,
goes
Scott.
into
Like
it.
this is the whole reason why we do these. Do you have to get an IV between the early games and the late games? Like, how do you keep your energy up?
That's a good thought. I should go to HR and see if we can get that passed through. Yeah, a little IV, maybe a back massage, shoulder massage for the tension that builds up. No, it's all about the prep work, whether it's intellectually prepping myself. Like these were my notes from last week. Several hundred pages of notes whittled down to about 40 or 50 pages to get me through the day. And of course, having my right-hand men, shout out to Tim and Brian, who sit next to me in the studio, on laptops to be able to fill in any gaps of knowledge that I have. Physically preparing for the show, I'm a high energy guy to begin with. I love my job. I love the fans. I love serving the audience. So the motivation is there for me, but physically being able to keep up your energy and focus and enthusiasm in hour 6, the same way you had it in hour 1, there's stuff that goes into that. And then of course, famously not taking a bathroom break during any 7-hour show is something that I have trained my bladder to do. And
well, that means you can't be pounding coffee, Red Bulls, Diet Cokes. Like you can't be doing that.
Exactly. And I'm not a coffee drinker either. I do not like coffee. So I don't take a caffeine kick to get me going. And like you said, input equals output. So I can't be taking energy drinks or anything else during the show. They'll bring me a bottle of water at the beginning, just a regular standard bottle of water. I'll crack open the seal. I'll take a sip. And at the end of the show, I'll look down, and that's how much was taken off of the top of the bottle of water, one little sip. So
that is like astronaut level training, Scott. I don't know how you do that.
I'm dedicated, baby. I'm dedicated.
For those watching us on YouTube, they can see your setup in the background with the multi-TV situation. I heard from a lot of people, because there's been this issue about the commercials and, there we go. Wow. That's 5 TVs plus the big one in the middle. I love it. That is a sports watcher's paradise.
A little pentabox in Casa Hanson.
Exactly. Yeah. I wish there was like a functionality where we could like, hey, okay, RedZone, I want the pentabox, but I want it on my sets of TVs. Like, wouldn't that be cool if you could actually get that to work?
Someday. Technology is always coming, always improving.
Yeah. More with Scott Hanson next on Locked On Packers. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive. And that's what makes Mazda stand out. They go beyond safety, style, and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda offers more than safety. It's won more 2025 IIHS Top Safety Pick awards than anyone else. And as an athlete, you focus on every detail. Mazda does the same, from metallic accents to hand-stitched Napa leather. It's the small details that make the big plays. And just like there's more to every player, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Well, so what do you think is the best way to watch RedZone? Because I have a lot of people say RedZone is my second screen. I've got a game over here. I've heard from a lot of people that are like, it's my third TV. I've always got it. It's run that, and I have the audio on that, which means they hear your voice all day, and then they've got the games on the other TV. Like, what do you? And if it is second screen, like, how do you feel about that?
Okay, look, I would answer that by saying, I don't propose to tell anyone how to consume sports. Everyone that's listening to us right here is I don't care what their profession is. They could be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a plumber, whatever. I guarantee you, everyone listening to us right now is a professional television viewer. They know what they want. They know how they want it. So I would not assume to say, oh, you need to watch it this way. I would say there's probably a million answers to that question because there's millions of fans that watch. I would say this, if you want it second screen, then I hope your main screen is the game that you're focused in on. If your favorite team is the Dallas Cowboys, put the Cowboys full screen, add a second screen, no problem. If you've got a multi-screen setup in your house, hey, you do you go for it. I'm honored that we would occupy one of those spaces. I would say this, majority of the audience probably has one screen, at least one big screen. They might watch on a tablet or their phone, something else. If your favorite NFL team is playing on Thursday night football, on Sunday night football, on Monday night football, or on the bye week. Or I suppose I could add like in an international game at a 9:30 a.m. kickoff. Why not have RedZone on your one big screen? We're going to give you the best of everything that you would possibly see by just watching one game, and we'll shuffle it all together in hopefully a very fun, entertaining, informative way. But to each their own. I have no disrespect. I've had people send me images from their golf cart playing a round of golf on a Sunday, and instead of the scorecard up on the monitor in the golf cart, they got RedZone up there. Do it. I've had people send me images from airplanes where they show me a row of the back seats of an airliner, and they're all on NFL RedZone. I've had people send me images of a new daddy in the maternity ward of a hospital on the cell phone showing their newborn child their first ever Octobox. True story. So people know how to watch RedZone. They don't need me telling them how to watch.
Yeah, well, if you want to sit down in front of, 7.5, 8 hours straight of football of any kind, you got to make sure that your other chores, your other duties are taken care of, and that's what you're doing with NFL Wake Up Call.
Absolutely. So I partnered with Lowe's for their Earn Your Sunday campaign. So Lowe's starts this campaign. The concept is this: we all have stuff we got to do around the house, right? Everyone's got a to-do list, a honey-do list, whatever it is. Inside of the house, out in the yard, whatever it is. I think people know Lowe's is the absolute best place to go for your home improvement needs, the official partner of the NFL. And the Earn Your Sunday component of it is this: we've all got a checklist. Why don't we get everything we need to do in and around the house done on the week, on Friday, on Saturday, so that when you hit the couch on an NFL Sunday and you want to watch 7 hours, 10 hours of straight NFL football, that you have earned your Sunday by having all the to-do list done. So you hit Lowe's Monday through Saturday, Sunday you hit the couch and you have earned your Sunday. And Lowe's has partnered with some of the biggest names in football to get that messaging out there. Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson, Dak Prescott, Christian McCaffrey, others, that they say, hey, you guys get your stuff done at your home, and then come see what we do, the NFL football players, on an NFL Sunday. And I would echo that as people let me into their homes on an NFL Sunday hosting NFL RedZone. It's a fun campaign for Lowe's.
Do you have something like, I assume after, you do this all day, there are other days of the week where you go, I need to decompress. Do you have a thing around the house you do, whether it's like taking care of the lawn or like maybe working on the barbecue? Like, do you have a home thing that is sort of your decompression go-to activity?
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time completely unplugging. Tuesdays during the week, for big NFL fans, they'll know that Tuesday is traditionally the player's day off. Yeah. Quarterback's still off in work. Any injured player goes in and gets treatment. But a lot of times Tuesday is when an NFL facility will say, hey, guys, get away for 12 hours, 24 hours, do your thing. So Tuesdays I might unplug. I've got stuff to do around my house. Stuff goes wrong in my house, or I want to improve stuff in my house all the time. The folks at Lowe's help me with all my projects. But I'll still find myself back to the computer or back to the television, scanning websites, watching shows to hear what the latest twists and turns, talking points, injury updates, bulletin board material coming out of a locker room in a soundbite. So I don't ever have a full day off during the season, but when I do, I can count on Lowe's to help me with my home projects.
All right. Thanks to Scott Hanson for joining the show today. Awesome. That guy. I mean, the energy. I don't understand it. Truly incredible, the energy that man has. Without coffee and a sip of water in 7 hours, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Next week, Packers, Browns, coming off a little mini bye. Enjoy this weekend off. Maybe enjoy RedZone. I don't know. We'll talk to you next week. Follow me on all the social medias. Follow the podcast on all the social medias. Remember, we have the squad show next week coming midweek. We're live for a half an hour on Locked On Packers, and then for an hour after that on post-game. So the new post-game for Locked On Packers is 90 minutes. A lot of you have been stopping by and checking out the squad show. We appreciate you taking that time to do that. Subscribe on our YouTube page. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts so you can stay Locked On Packers.